Imagine a boiler room, right? Like the safety gauge is completely shattered, and manually cranking this tiny, fragile valve is literally the only thing stopping a massive explosion. Welcome to today's deep dive. We're looking into that metaphorical boiler room today.
Yeah, we are unpacking the really intense transcript of a YouTube video called KOGZ, Pile of Spit. Yeah.
Right. And our mission today is to explore how this extreme personal darkness and just, societal alienation gets channeled into aggressive lyrical art as a pure survival mechanism.
I do think we need to acknowledge right up front that this is really heavy material. Like, the lyrics deal super frankly with severe depression and suicidal ideation.
Oh, absolutely. But beneath all that harshness, there's this profound, almost uncomfortable vulnerability that you just don't see exposed this clearly very often.
Exactly. And we have to start with why KOGZ writes. I mean, it's not for fame or some catchy radio hook. It's a literal lifeline for him.
Yeah, he describes his pencil as having a roar that gives his mind the strength to get up and fight.
Which is a fascinating coping strategy. He says these sentences vent the stress so he doesn't end up hating himself.
So it's that pressure valve we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Like the recording booth is almost a psychological confessional.
Right. He literally notes that when he's writing, all his worries are erased. He calls himself a suicide bomb and says he's gassed to a pen and pad.
Wow. So if he doesn't physically write those words down, that immense psychological pressure turns inward and detonates.
And that internal pressure is fed directly by his inability to process the external world. I mean, he mentions a doctor diagnosing him with Asperger's.
Right. He confesses, I don't feel human most days, which is just brutal to hear.
It is. And he has this fierce rejection of modern society. He views social circles as a swamp where he feels like a parasite.
Yeah. And he points out how we're all divided by pixelated screens. He even goes after mainstream music for being, half-hearted.
Well, think about the mechanism behind that hostility, because it's something you listening might actually relate to.
Oh, for sure. The whole digital isolation aspect.
Exactly. You combine neurodivergence, which makes social navigation exhausting, with our highly curated digital landscape, and the friction is just immense.
Yeah, he's looking at a world interacting through superficial screens and feeling totally alien to it.
But here's the massive paradox. He feels entirely disconnected from humanity, right? But he still shares the art.
Right. He explicitly says to the listener, if it helps you out, I relate as well.
Yeah.
He's throwing a rope down into the dark, hoping someone grabs it.
And the ultimate lifeline he grabs onto is this sudden, jarring shift in the narrative.
Oh, you mean the baby on the way part?
Yes. Amidst all these lyrics about feeling like a ghost and having his head in a noose, he vows to reach any limit to give them what I didn't get.
It's such a profound anchor, right?
Yeah, it grounds his internal chaos into this singular responsibility, bringing him a desperate sort of peace.
See, I have to push back on that idea of peace, though. Does impending fatherhood actually tame that aggressive fatalism?
You don't think it does?
Reading these lyrics, it doesn't sound like he's softening at all. If anything, it sounds like he's weaponizing his pen even more.
Okay, that's an interesting take.
He isn't at peace. He's just surviving for that child with the exact same fierce combative energy.
I see your point. The combative energy remains, but the psychological function shifts. It's not about softening, it's about changing the target.
Right, harnessing it.
Exactly. Before, it was desperate flailing. Now, that aggression builds a protective perimeter. The chaos has a clear, unshakable direction.
It gives the survival instinct a physical form. So taking a step back, we've moved from deep internal despair to a scathing critique of society.
All bound tightly by this raw need to survive for the next generation, it shows how closely linked creation and destruction can be.
Right, unfiltered art like this holds up a mirror to the hidden struggles we usually try to keep polite.
The metaphorical noose and the pen are locked in a very real, daily battle for this artist.
Which leaves you with one lingering question to chew on today. If the pen is the only thing keeping the explosion at bay, what happens when the trauma that fuels this art actually begins to heal?
Yeah, if the mind finally finds peace, does the music survive the cure?